Hey, what's going on, guys? Uh, episode 12, 13. Episode 13.
13.
Episode
13.
13.
We still here. We're still doing it.
We're still here. We're still doing it. I had to change. I apologize for episode 12. I put the crash video or the crash and chug. And the computer did some strange things. It flipped it, and then I had to flip it on Skype, and then I had to flip it again for the video. Long story short, it didn't come out right. So if you're a
Flip
bit
mode.
confused, yeah, flip mode. Yeah, Buster Rhymes editing the videos, jacked it all up.
Yeah. But that's a beautiful destination place that you got in your background there.
Yeah, I don't know where that's at. It looks like it's somewhere nice. This is a random picture I found and I threw it in there.
Yeah.
Can you hear me just fine?
Loud and clear. Can you hear me? Testing.
Yep.
One,
Testes, testes,
two. One,
and
two.
sometimes three.
Yeah, that little dangly thing.
So, give a shout out to, let's see if we can do this right. Alamo City Shred Club. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I follow them on Instagram and I got tagged by a few of the guys I ride with, and they sent me my first. Damn, this thing in the background. Yeah, you can't really see it. Well,
and for those on the podcast that's just listening, he got some swag from.
Yeah, so we need to get better at that. We need to kind of get better at explaining what we're looking at. I've noticed that when I'm making the video, I was like, you know what, that sucks for people listening because they don't hear or they don't see what we're talking about. So we got to get better at that. So for you guys listening on Spotify or Google Podcasts or any other of the streaming platforms we're on. By the way, we're also still waiting. I believe Apple or iTunes and Pandora, they want us to do one live stream, at least one live stream before they accept us. So we probably be doing that. But I just want to make sure we get all our bells and whistles like aligned before we even get into that. So that might be a little bit of time until we do our first live stream. But yeah, man, I got all these stickers from actually other riders that I ride with. One of the groups is called the South Texas Trail Demons, and that's one of their decals. I already have some of these. That's one of them. This is their newer one. It's like a little guy in a suit, which looks like demon. I'm not to say that I've seen many of them, but
only my dreams.
Only my dreams. So yeah, I got all these different decals, and which is pretty cool.
I also got one. People know who you are. You're on the map.
Yeah, well, I know who they are now because I got other decals. So that was pretty cool. I got that in the mail, and I still got to give a shout out.
Did the last one say Taco MTB?
It did.
So what do they do? Like eat tacos after they ride? That would be awesome.
Probably that's what most of us do. Yeah, we go for a ride, and then we'll grab some tacos. Or pre-COVID, we used to do that a lot, but after that, like, I mean, there's still people that kind of go like when we go sit outside and we eat, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it wasn't like it used to be. I know there was a guy that started a group recently. He said he wanted to have a ride, then have a couple beers afterwards, and then that's gonna be the name of the Facebook group, like Shredding Beers or something like that. I don't know what it was. It sounds cool. I mean, I'm all about trying to get people out and communicating and, you know, just hanging out with each other, especially nowadays where we're mainly inside. Well, a lot of people are mainly inside most of the time.
Yeah, this is true. But then those of us, you know, essential workers who are outside all the time and still enjoy being outside.
Thank you for that, man. Thank you for delivering.
Somebody got to slang
those
these
packages.
Somebody got to slang them like dope out here in these streets.
Yeah, some of those streets they actually probably think is dope.
Yeah.
Especially but anywho.
Yeah. So what you got going on, man? You know, what's on the menu for you coming up as far as like riding, or you got any competitions or anything coming up?
I do actually. Shout out to @Victory Racing. You can follow them on Instagram. I can put like a little thing on the bottom here, or put it in the description. They are having an enduro. It's actually a shuttle enduro, so you can put like an asterisk next to it. Because a true enduro is riding all the way up to the lines and then doing whatever, how many stages, because it's an endurance race. And it's pretty much, if you think of enduro, it's like a mix between downhill and cross country, I guess. Because you're trying to, cross country is like you're going as fast as you can on, I don't want to say mile terrain because it depends on what level you're racing at. But you're trying to go as fast as you can. And then downhill is just like you're going way more steep downhill on more aggressive terrain as fast as you can, right? So enduro is like in between those two. So it's like this terrain is not as, for the most part, at least in here in Texas, is not as steep. But for like you're trying to go down as fast as you can and up as fast as you can. So that's in like an enduro race. Okay. So having said that, I did my first enduro at Bandera Bike Park back in February, and I'm actually working on a video right now to kind of highlight that because I just kind of took the video and I didn't really do anything with it. And being that my GoPro was out right now, being fixed, I'm trying to take this opportunity to make another videos with the other video that I just have like kind of like laying around, the other footage I still have laying around. So I'm working on that. But Camp Eagle is the next race. That is the 5th and the 6th of September. And that is going to be a shuttle race. That's why I say an asterisk next to it, just because we're not climbing all the way up. But either way, it should be fun. It's going to be the 5th and 6th, so it's a Saturday and Sunday. Now, tips for going. I've been at Camp Eagle once. I went up there to kind of see what the lines were. When I say lines, I'm meaning like the race lines. And we rode, buddy of mine, James and I, we went out there and we rode some of the lines. And it's pretty chunky. It's a lot of gnar meaning like big rocks, loose over hard, packed surfaces. So if you're doing any berms or anything, not berms, but just any type of turns, you really gotta kind of be on your tip, yeah, because you could slide out real easy. So those are some things.
How far is it? Like the distance? How far is the track itself?
So they vary. Each stage, some of them are like maybe like I'm trying to think of the distance, but maybe like a quarter of a mile. But it's just like real steep, rugged, kind of terrain. And then some of them were longer, maybe like half a mile, maybe a mile. I think stage 5 is the longest one. I didn't really map out to see what the distance was, but the category I'm in, it's going to be 8 stages. So 4 stages per.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 4 stages per day. And it's going to be shuttles, so that's going to help. But the way they did it last time was the shuttles, you get so many of shuttles, like, so you could get 8 shuttles, right? Let's say they take you to the top, you write down. Yeah. But the way they did it was you can do the shuttle, like the stages as many times as you want, but you only have so many shuttles. You know what I mean? So you could, let's say you do stage 1 and you're like, that was garbage. I didn't like it. I want to do it again. So now you have to either eat one of those, use another shuttle to go up to do stage 1, or you could just ride it up and then ride it down. You know what I mean? To save your shuttles for like the last day or something. So there's a bit of,
that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I like that because it kind of adds like a different strategy to it. You can't just, you know what I mean? You have to think about how you're going to use your shuttles. Like with Bandera, I ended up saving 2 of the shuttles. I ended up saving 2 of the shuttles, and it was it was. I think I ended up at the end of I ended up having like a shuttle left over, so I didn't use them all. But that was only like 5 or 6 stages of the category I was doing. So this year, I don't know why the fuck I did it, honestly. If I'm telling everybody on here, I don't know if I was just on some level, when I signed up for the race, I signed up for pro, right?
What are the levels? What are the levels?
So it's like beginner, it's beginner, it's there's a category for beginner. There's like 40 plus masters, which is the one I did last time. And then there's like intermediate, like there's like 5 or 6 different groups, right? And for whatever reason, I mean, I could honestly say why I did it. I did it because I was like, I've seen like what's around here, and I saw it from a competition level. Like I was like, I do most pro lines anyways, so it all
Mm-hmm.
really boils down to like time. So that's how I saw it when I signed up for it, and it was like
Okay.
it wasn't like that I've because the more and more like ever since that happened, I've been looking at other videos like of people who are like in um, actual pro riders that are like in BC, which is British Columbia, Canada, and they're
Uh-huh.
doing some crazy shit. And I'm not saying I'm out of the realm of trying crazy shit, but I haven't worked my way up. So I really didn't do a whole lot of thinking into it in the sense of like, what is a pro rider? What is a pro rider like? Do they can they ride anything and everything? Like, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
think I kind of
that is.
just
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, I would imagine you were trying to challenge yourself too. That's why you was
I
like,
was
I could put it as beginner, but I will probably win that. So I'm gonna put it at pro and compete with the best. That's the competitive
yeah.
nature.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, the beginners, there probably be people faster. So, I mean, when I did the last race, the times were there was one guy that actually won it on a hardtail, but I mean, he won by like 2 minutes, like from everyone.
Oh,
Um,
killing it.
but yeah, but we'll see. I mean, he was racing in the pro category though. Um, but we'll see how it turns out. Like, I think all the beginner spots are taken up now. And honestly, I heard that's why it's like I really didn't think about it too far down the road. I heard like once you race pro, you have to stay racing pro. You can't go backwards. I don't know
Which
if that's
makes sense.
official. Yeah,
I
which
mean, that
makes
kind of would make sense. I guess.
yeah. But either way, I see it as a challenge. I've already kind of paid my fee. I've already done that, so I'm not really working my way back. If I get annihilated, like in the race or whatever, then I do. It's not. It's whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I
I,
highly doubt that. I got faith in you.
thanks,
I
man.
doubt you get annihilated.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? But we'll see how it turns out. I'm excited for it. I'm really not trying to focus on it too much anymore. It's just kind of one of those things, a rookie thing. I was kind of, I don't want to say believing my own hype, but I do have a lot of confidence the way I ride. And I have been riding pretty consistently for the past 2 years, a little over 2 years, and I've been doing a lot of stuff. I mean, I think Angel Fire gave me a lot of confidence in the sense of like riding big stuff. And I mean, granted, it's not
Competing.
Canada, but I can only do what is in my radius of riding. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you said Canada, so is that like in the back up there to drive
Yeah.
up there and ride up there one day?
So when I first started riding, that was my goal. I remember having a conversation with somebody, and I was just like, my goal is to go like to Whistler Bike Park or just anywhere in Canada, and that's kind of like the MTB pilgrimage, if you will. Um,
Ah,
yeah, because they have some really big stuff there, and it's a downhill park. It's a bike park, so you go all the way to the top, with a chairlift, and then you ride all these random lines on the way down. I want to get to do that, and my goal at the time when I was telling this person, I was like, my goal is to go to Whistler, but I want to be at the skill level where I can do everything. I don't want to just go and just be like, oh, I can only do these blue lines or this green line or whatever. I want to
right.
be at so that's what I'm working my way up to. That's kind of been like my long term goal. So hopefully I can, one, get the money to go and experience that for myself. And two, it's also going to be like a benchmark for me if I can go to like Whistler and do everything and like clear everything, then that would be
That'll be pretty dope.
yeah, that would be
It
ideal.
will be.
So
It will be.
it
Speaking
will
into
be.
existence.
It
It
will. It
will
will
be.
be. It will be. It's just a matter of time. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm excited for it either way. But going back to Camp Eagle,
Yeah.
so Camp Eagle, I went out there with my friend James, and it's really loose overpacked hard. It's really chunky stuff. If for any of you guys that have ridden Government Canyon here in Texas, near San Antonio. It's actually a state park. I believe it's a state park. It's the terrain's a lot like that, except I would say my friend James categorized it as government canyon on steroids, but I would say more like HDH. I don't think it's steroids. I think it's HGH, like a step down.
Valco.
Yeah, yeah. So I, I don't know. I saw some of the enduro lines, and some of them were pretty gnarly. Like one of them, I was like riding, and I think I'm trying to remember the name of it. But anyways, we hit a certain part, and I had to stop, and I was like, wait, hold up, because I didn't see the line, and if you couldn't just, so it was like probably like a 2.5, 3 foot drop, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't just a clear drop. Like if you hit it, then there was another section that was just equally as chunky. So if you and you can't have enough speed where you can just send it over both of them. You had to like go in and with the right speed and find the right line, and then go to the next one to set it up for the because then there's a berm or like a not even really a berm, but it's a turn that you can't really hit too fast because if not you'll go off the little I don't want to say ledge, but the hill there. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
definitely have to. So there is some stuff out there that kind of makes you think twice, but once you see the line and you find the line, then it's not so bad. At least that's the two lines that I've seen. So I want to go back out there Friday. But having said all that, some things I picked up about going out there was one, I would recommend taking cash out there just in case their card machine is out. This is a very remote campsite, and it's called Camp Eagle. It's a place that it's a camp, so kids will go there, and there's like a lot of hardened infrastructure there. There's like uh, I don't want to say like there's like rooms you can stay in there. They have like little houses you can stay in, or you could stay like in like a little hotel setting where you can share
Mm-hmm.
bunks with people. It's and they have like a cafeteria there that you can eat at. They have stuff like it's right next to the Frio River, so you can jump in the Corio River. It's cold water. Well, it's not
Mm.
cold water. It's cold river. But so you get there's all
Rivers
this
have
stuff.
water. You're right.
Yeah,
Rivers
yeah.
have
You
water.
can go tubing there. There's all this stuff you can do, the archery and all this stuff. But the reason why they were there is for the race, and so a lot of people are going to be staying there. When I hear it's a good time, um, after the race, people are going to be hanging out and stuff. I don't know how really it's going to work with this COVID stuff, but
Yeah, that was
or
I was gonna ask that. I was like, so is it gonna be like business as usual with the
yeah,
COVID, and is it
for the
masks?
for the most part. But honestly, with everything we know about COVID, it's less. At least for now, it's unless you're talking right on like in somebody's face. Outside is a least likely place that you're going to contract the virus. And there's a lot of things that we can get into about that from biologists that talked about Brett Weinstein. He had talked about how it hasn't found a way to travel like outside. So there's also talks about like how like that's even more of a reason why they feel it came out of a lab because it learned how to mutate and everything within inside. But as soon as it went outside, it didn't know
It
how to
dissipate.
adapt to it.
Yeah.
So, but we can get into all that some other time. But having said all that, I feel that maybe that might hinder some of the stuff. Like right now, like there's only 100 spots for the race because of COVID, but normally I think it would have been a lot more racers. Usually, I think it would probably be like 200 or something like that. But this year it's only 100, so it's affected it in that way. But so take cash out there just in case the card machine's not working. The nearest store is maybe like 20 miles away, maybe, or maybe the 15 miles, and then you run a chance of it not being open because the nearest town is Rock Springs, Texas, and that's a hike away from it. A pretty good like drive.
Make sure
So
you bring supplies. That's what it
make sure
sounds
you
like.
bring supplies exactly. Make sure you have everything because even the road when you come off of I think it's 43, which is the highway, and you go towards Camp, there's going to be a sign that says Camp Eagle this way. That road is 8 miles of gravel. It's a gravel road, and I highly recommend. with the amount of traffic that's going to be out there is that you, especially if you have your bike on the back of a truck where your fork's hanging over the tailgate, that you wrap it up in something like a towel or something with some bungee cords or something, because that fine dust is going to get all over it, and it's just you're gonna have to wipe it off when you're done. It's gonna get all over your brake rotor, which will cause like a contamination. So that's something you want to be aware of when you're driving out there.
What would you say to your preferred way of transporting your bike? Like, do you put it inside your vehicle because you got an SUV?
Yeah, so I have a Mazda Tribute. I mean, nothing fancy, but I have a Kuat rack. It holds up well. I have a two bike rack on there right now. So Kuat, it just pops down and you put the bikes on top on each section. And I also have the extension where you can add two more bikes, but it's exposed to the elements. So some things you want to factor in, especially for me when I'm riding out there. And another thing I noticed was when we went out there, when we passed a vehicle, I believe when we passed that vehicle like spat out rocks when it was accelerating. So it shot rocks at the bike, and I had like some nicks on the top of my fork, not on the stanchion, but on the fork, like the crown, I guess, of it. Yeah, the crown of it. Yeah, right there
at the top part of the.
Right,
can't see.
Right on
the top
the
part of the middle finger.
Right on the family jewels there.
Yeah.
So I So I would recommend like wrapping it with something. I mean, unless you're just gonna spray it down when you get out there. But it's just like one thing to kind of keep your bike uh, kind of out of the dust and what have you. And for future, like if you're doing any long trips, I know they sell some like brake cover things that you can put on there. It's like a little um, thing you can zip up around your brake rotor for those long drives. Because if there's any road grime or anything that's kind of kicking up, then if that gets on your rotor, then your rotor start howling, you get contamination and stuff. So that's the little stuff you want to look for. However, you could when you get there, you could just get some alcohol wipes and then wipe down your rotor, and then clean it that way with denatured alcohol. So those are little things you could do for it. So take supplies, take cash. I would also recommend finding a room right now, which I need to do because yeah, unless you're gonna sleep. I thought about sleeping in my car, but I was like, I'm gonna get shitty probably sleep. Just because if people are partying outside, you know what I mean, all the noise and stuff, you're not probably gonna get good sleep. So I would definitely recommend getting a room. And then also extra things I would probably take is an extra tire, an extra just in case you shred a tire.
Extra bike tire. Yeah.
Extra bike tire, which and then maybe an extra chain, just in case you break a chain. And just like little stuff, like stuff to work on your bike, because normally when you're doing any type of race or anything, shit might and will break depending on how hard you're riding. So those are things to look for. You kind of want to be that person walking around asking for people for a chain or whatever.
Hey man, you got a spare chain I could borrow?
Yeah. You got a spare bike?
You got a spare front tire? I just need an extra front tire. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll be good to go.
So stuff like that, take sealant and stuff like that. But yeah, it should be a good time though. It's 5th and 6th, like I said, and I'm looking forward to the experience, and I'm looking forward to I'm competitive to a certain level, but I'm not going to be competitive to the point where I'm like, I want
fun. You gotta have fun still.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about. It's just about having fun, really.
And networking as well. You're gonna meet some more people out there. Maybe get some more stickers.
Yeah, man, I gotta take my stack of stickers that I have and get rid of the rest of them. So I need to order some more because they're just kind of already on my last batch. So I gotta order more. I gotta change the design up a little bit just to kind of keep it interesting. But yeah,
that's what's up, man. I'm excited, man. You're gonna go up there and you're gonna kill it, have fun, and
yeah, man, it should be a good time. It should be a good time. Hopefully,
how much of the fitty you're gonna be crashing?
Right. Also, there's like no reception up there. So if you so many people that want to think you're gonna be like live streaming or anything, unless you can get on a Wi-Fi or somewhere. Don't recall if I saw any Wi-Fi, but I know it's definitely not at the top of the hills or anything. So you're gonna be, if you're going to be out there all weekend, then you don't expect to be calling home a whole lot because there's like barely any reception out there, which is kind of a good thing on some level because you kind of
Yeah,
just
helps you
forced to be them.
focus to get away.
Yeah. So I mean, which is also ideal for like a camp for kids. Everyone's stuck on their phones. So yeah,
Yeah.
to kind of get them away from it with no service, that's also a good thing.
And
However,
it just so happens that background looks like you wouldn't have any service if you was riding out there
yeah,
either.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's true.
This is the no service episode.
Yep. So also the one thing I found was that if you are going to use any of the maps that Seth Buckner from Victory Racing, he's the one heading up the race. He's the founder of Victory Racing, I believe. He sent out a link to Google Maps to see where the lines are going to be, the enduro lines. And I tried using that, thinking there was going to be service. So if you're going to go out there and you're going to use that map as a reference, you might want to take a screenshot of it or download it or something to your phone so that way you can actually use it, because I wasn't able to use anything. It was just kind of, we literally like rode around for like an hour trying to find where these lines are because we had never been there before.
Mm.
And then the lady at the front desk, she was like, "Oh, go over here, and then you can find them. Just go this way." And I was like, "All right." So we rode that way, and we are like, "This doesn't look right." So we ended up at some creek bed, God knows, in the middle of nowhere. But long story short, we ended up finding the lines, and we ended up learning the place because of it. So that's why I want to go back a second time and try to ride the lines. They just went out this past weekend, and they marked off a bunch of the line. I think like four of the lines. So I want to go out there and kind of just walk them out and see where they're at and stuff like that. I wish I could go this weekend, but I'm not gonna be able to go this weekend and like to help them, like set up some of the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh man, shake it off.
Shake
Shake
it
it
off.
off.
Shake it off like Taylor Swift. Shake it off.
Shake it off. Shake it off. So what
So
you got
there.
up for the rest of the day, man? Today, before go through that great experience that you're gonna go through.
So I've been like yesterday. I went for. It wasn't like really training because I really don't want to get into the idea of like training yet, because I don't want to take the fun out of it. So I just had the idea is to ride to simulate some of the terrain that was going to be out there, like here at the local trails,
Mm-hmm.
to find like the chunkiest, gnarliest sections, and then try to do that as fast as I could. So that's pretty much what I did. My wife and I, we went out yesterday. We rode, and I let her know like, hey, I'm gonna like sprint, and then I'll wait for you, wherever. So that's what I was doing, and it was a pretty good time. Was riding pretty fast and stuff on Strava. I like made some good times, but it's because no, most of the time when I ride, I'm riding just for like fun, the fun of it. You know what I mean? And if I go
Yeah.
fast, I go fast. If I don't, I don't. But that's pretty much what I did. I was riding around. But Friday, that's what I want to go out and do. I wish I could go to Government Canyon, but it's closed right now. I guess a few people from the park, I don't know, it was park rangers or staff, they got contracted COVID, so they shut down the whole park because that would be the probably one of the best places to simulate Camp Eagle, but it's closed, so I can't really use that as simulation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's unfortunate. I'll probably go for one of my longer rides a little bit later today.
There you go. You're gonna try to get some sleep today.
Oh yeah, I mean I got some sleep last night,
There you go.
this
That's good.
morning, but
That's
it's
yeah,
it's a beautiful day outside, man. It's probably about like maybe 80 here, 82,
yeah, dude.
83.
That's really nice. Did y'all just get some rain recently?
Nah, it's just been cold. Like last night, it got down to about like 61.
Dang.
Yeah, so this is great riding weather right here. I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna max out. Try to
Speaks.
go for about 30.
Speaking of which, remember I was telling you about there's a YouTuber called Mo and Hannah. It's a couple, and they're like riding around. They've had a YouTube channel for a while, but they just recently combined them. But they were in Kansas City, and they rode some of the trails there, and they actually interviewed some of the people, the local trail builders and the locals that ride there,
Mm-hmm.
and they got like some feedback of what the trails are. I heard that in Kansas City there's like 300 plus miles of single track of mountain bike trails.
I
That's a
wouldn't
lot.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's a lot of
Yeah, dude.
trails and just street trails too. So I wouldn't doubt it.
So I'm looking forward to going up there and checking out some of the stuff. I didn't watch the whole video. I just kind of been watching like when I got time. But so far, I mean, like the trails. I mean, I know there's not like tons of elevation there, but it sounds like these guys have made the most. Kind of like they're doing here in Texas. They do the most what they can with the elevation, and by creating like different lines and what they have. So that sounds pretty cool, man. I can't wait to try that and hopefully plan like a next trip and go somewhere. Especially after this race, I'll probably start planning for another trip. Well, actually, in October, I'm supposed to go to Bentonville again with the
That's
Dirt
in
Therapy
Arkansas,
project.
right?
Yeah, it's in Northwest Arkansas, and I plan to do drop the hammer there this time. The last time I was there was closed. Drop the hammer
What is
is a
that?
12 foot.
What
It's
does
a,
that mean?
drop the hammer. It's just a feature. It's in Bentonville. It's a 12-foot drop.
That sounds pretty pants wetting for me. I would wet my pants.
Yeah,
12-foot drop?
Yeah, it's a 12-foot drop. I mean, it's into a transition. Like, so you hit it and you hit the transition. But what gave me a lot of confidence was last year, probably around this time, I went to Free Ride 512, which is in Smithville, Texas, which is just outside of Austin. And they have drop features that start from like 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, all the way up to 12 feet. Mm-hmm. And I after doing the 2 foot or the 4 foot drop, I just went straight over to the 8 foot drop. I think I did that one. Then I did the 10 foot, and then I was like, I'm just gonna do the 12. And I didn't even like pre-run it or nothing. I just did it, and that gave me a lot of confidence because I landed it. I actually did it twice, and I have it on video. But that gave me a lot of confidence with many drops. You know what I mean? Because I was like, already, it's kind of like in your mind. Just when anything to be done at once.
You get over that mental block. It's like,
yeah,
I know I can do it, but I got to do it that one time. And shoot, I'm gonna do it back to back twice. Oh yeah.
So I definitely want to go and clean that up and do that, and then also hit whatever other features that I didn't get to do last time, just because of my skills. My skills weren't there, and I crashed a lot the first time I went to Bentonville. I crashed a lot. That's actually how I got my name. My first part of my name, Crash Bandicoot.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Going up there to reclaim your name.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully, that's like the last trip Angel Fire. The guy that originally gave me that name, Jonathan Hagerman. He was like, "I think we need to give you a new name." He's like, because we haven't seen you like go down as many times as you did before. So I took it as a compliment. You know what I mean? I was like,
progression, man. It's progression.
Yeah. So I was pretty excited about that, and just Angel Fire gave me a lot of confidence as well. Kind of going out there and then riding with some of the guys that I rode with, not only from the Dirt Therapy project, but also Ride Away Bicycles. They have a racing team, and I rode with them on maybe four runs, and they gave me a lot of confidence because I just heard them saying certain things that, like, oh, I didn't even use my brake in the burns, and like I was like, oh, I'm gonna try that. You know what I mean? Because I was like, well, obviously they didn't crash, so it's doable. Yeah. So that's what I started kind of working on, letting off the brakes on the burns, and I actually got faster, like the big burns, and then. Just following them, they're going a lot faster. But I was staying up with them. So, I mean, not the guy all the way at the front. I mean, that might have been a different story. There's a guy that rides with him. His name's Ricky Bobby, and believe he's the fastest rider. I mean, I don't know. I don't ride with him as much as I would like to.
Now, first or last. His name is Ricky Bobby?
Yeah. He's a really good rider, too. And I wish I could ride with him. I need to reach out to him and just be like, hey, man, he's real cool, dude. I've talked to him before.
Is that his, like,
that's not his real... Yeah, that's his name. Even on Instagram, his name Ricky Bobby MTV or something like that.
Okay.
So so he's a good rider. He's a cool dude too, and I would like to. I should start riding with him more, just so I can kind of get more of that experience. You know what I mean? Especially if my dumb ass signed up for pro. You know, I probably need to start doing some more.
Not dumb. You just set the bar high.
Yeah, and. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Either way, I'm trying not to let it get in my head because when I did sign up, I really do believe in my capability. I don't think it's a false sense of security. Now, having said that, if we end up going to like something doing like, I don't know, some really steep stuff like in Canada, then it might take me a little bit to get to that, but I do have the confidence that I will be able to do it. I just need to, have
Absolutely.
somebody, tow me in or whatever. And then once I do it once, then I can do it again and I'll get faster eventually. So yeah, man, I'm excited for it. Just the overall race and the opportunity just to, it's really to prove to myself if I'm able to do it. That's really what it boils down to. I'm really like racing against myself. If that makes sense.
It does,
Because
to
even if
see
I don't place, I'm
where
cool
you
with that.
were, and where you are now, and then where you
Right.
want to get to. So
Right.
it's like your measuring stick. That's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
a good thing. It's your measuring stick. Ain't nothing wrong with measuring your stick sometimes.
Yeah. That's true. Sword fight, whatever.
No, no sword fight. Just no,
I
just
just thought
measuring
that
it.
I thought I'd throw a curveball your way.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. As long as you guys out there listening, we're not
Yeah.
sword fighting over here. No.
That'd be kind of hard to do it, like virtually.
Yeah, that's
It's strange.
so. The weather down there is probably hotter than it is here. I was talking about how cool it is here. Is it?
Yeah.
So,
So
what's the weather going to be like for the ride?
that's a damn good question. I do not know that. I would imagine I'm just expecting it to be hot. If I know that doesn't really answer the
Hot
question, but
as fuck. It's gonna be
I'm
hot as fuck.
I'm gonna look it up right now what the weather's gonna be. So today it's currently feels like 85. The high is gonna be 100. So I would
Sheesh.
imagine the next 10-day outlook. I should probably do for out there. Campego, Texas. The weather is going to be
Drum roll.
unable to show locations. What the hell?
Man, that sounds like it's pleasant or something.
So I'm gonna have to do it here for San Antonio. For some reason, it's not pulling up Camp Eagle, San Antonio, or Camp Eagle, Texas. I don't know why, but so it's this.
What's the coldest weather you've ever ridden in?
The,
That's a crazy
the
question.
coldest weather I've ever ridden in is probably like 35 degrees,
Yeah, I'm about
maybe.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing
Ski
that's gonna
mask.
So one
All
thing that's
that.
gonna really throw a monkey wrench and stuff, and one thing that if it rains during the race, that's gonna be a whole different race for everyone. I mean, I haven't ridden a lot in the rain because most of the times when it rains here, you cannot ride because it's just like cakes on your bike. It's just like it's clay, so it just
Mm-hmm.
gets stuck on your bike, and it just the tires don't really get rid of the mud as easily.
So
So
you
that's
just
probably going to be a slow race for most
slip
of
it in.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it rains, that's definitely going to put a challenge, and plus it's going to be real rocky. So that should be interesting. Hopefully everyone comes out of the race safely. You know what I mean, and doesn't have any like too crazy of an injury or whatever.
Yeah. And plus the mud would probably, break the fall a little bit better, give it a little bit more cushion,
True,
a little bit more squishy.
true. But if that happens, then that's a whole different race in the sense. But it should be interesting either way to see how everyone does, especially me because I haven't ridden that much in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to throw another monkey wrench into things. But either way, it should be fun either way. Um,
Yeah, but man, wish you the best of luck, and I know you're gonna put forth that great effort.
I'll put forth the effort. Now, if it's going to translate to a good time, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's all you can do. Just put forth that effort.
Yeah. But like I said, hopefully I have my GoPro by then. I really hope I do. I need to contact GoPro today and figure out where my camera's at. Because I haven't got a message back from them saying that they received my camera.
What's
Uh,
up, GoPro? We need that.
yeah, man, what's up, GoPro? Um, but where are you gonna plan to ride today? Just this
I'm going
normal
to
routes.
no, it's a different one. It's Parkville, Missouri area. It's maybe 45 minutes away from where I live at, and it's right along the Missouri River, and it's leads up to the casino.
Nice.
So I think it's like maybe about 15 miles down and down. So it might be about 30 miles today for me.
Are the casinos open there?
Yeah,
Like,
they're open, but
oh really?
not the tables, just the machines.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
like
they got like
no poker, no blackjack, no
yeah,
roulette, nothing like that. No
yeah.
pie cow. I don't know if pie cow's a game.
I don't know what that is either. Pie
Me neither.
cow,
Yeah, I
like a
made that up.
cow, like a cow that's a pie, or a pie cow, like a cow patty.
Yeah, but it's it's spelled like PHO apostrophe
Okay,
KAW, something like that. Pie
so
cow.
um, how'd you last week we had a Fern on. Like, what did you take out of that conversation? Like, is there anything that you learned a lot from as far as that podcast that we did with Fern, or like have any questions based off of that, like anything he said or anything like that?
Oh man, just the whole don't be overly not confident, but just don't be ashamed if you mess your bike up. That's like if you messed it up, just admit it. That way it's gonna
Yeah,
help the mechanic as opposed to them trying to figure it out. Just be like, hey man, I ran into a curb. I ran into somebody's car with a beer in my hand, and I don't know
right,
what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? So like that was, and he was like, you could tell he was really sincere about that because trying to
right,
figure out something as opposed to nobody really telling you, that's a waste of time, valuable time. So
right.
that's the biggest thing. And of course, clean the dog doo doo off the tires if you run over
Yeah,
dog doo doo.
I was like some of the stuff you talked about. I was like, damn, I can't believe people do that. But it makes, I mean, it makes sense that some people would do that. I mean, whether they do it intentional or not, and that's to be debated. But you know what I mean. At the same time, it's a good thing we kind of got that out to people, so they're not doing it on purpose. They at least they'll check their bike now for whoever listened.
Yeah,
Um, but uh, yeah, man, it's crazy because I know we talked about like storm and like the trail systems and stuff like that. And just
hmm
recently, I saw there's a group of kids, and I say kids because they're younger. But one thing that's good is they're building trails, and I appreciate the fact that they're doing things to kind of stay out of trouble. And I rather than building trails and doing a bunch of whatever to get in trouble or probably end up in jail or whatever.
yeah,
But at the same time, and some of the trails they're building are real nice as far as like the berms and stuff. It's like put a lot of effort into it. That actually looks like they know what they're doing. But they had a fundraiser for them to build trails and stuff like that. Like it was like a GoFundMe. But I was
hmm
just thinking like that's awesome, and I'm all for what they're doing. But my experience, like when I've helped build trails in the past, and they're not sanctioned trails, is that the city or whoever comes out and destroys them, which
really,
sucks. Yeah, which sucks. And one of the parts that they're building right now is one of the places that the neighborhood or the HOA or somebody came out and they destroyed them. They like broke the ramps, and they took out like certain features and stuff like that, which is dangerous
damn,
because at the same time, like they probably see it as it being dangerous, like some of their kids could probably get hurt or whatever. But at the same time, they're also destroying stuff. And then if somebody assumes that that feature is there and they're coming down fast, and then it's not
it's
there,
not
the
there
ramp's gone.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's somebody can get really, really hurt. Having said all that, I was talking to a kid yesterday, um, and actually getting one of my decals because he had noticed it on my helmet. Sometimes I forget that I have the decals in my pocket, and I just forget to give them out.
mm
But I ended up giving him some, and we got to talking about that, and he was just like, and he was like forward to. He was like, yeah, I'm glad that they're building trails. He's a younger kid too. He's like, because I enjoy riding them, and he's talking. He's a nurse, and he was like, this city needs trails, because it's helping people get healthy, and there's a whole chain we can go down as far as how it's beneficial for people to
benefits.
get
Yeah,
outside, ride, and yada yada. But I was just like, man, if we could kind of get this organization in which people I think a lot of times misunderstand, or maybe they're basing it off of older regime that the way their mindset was. But if we can get all these motivated kids and people that want to build trails together with this organization, and hopefully it works in the way that I hope it does, then these kids can build stuff that they want and have
How
it
they
actually
want it.
actually stay in place and not have, because it's sanctioned, so the city will say this is official, and you won't have people going out and destroying it. No, you can't really control.
Sounds like you're finding your
I'm
part
trying, like,
in the bike world to connect those two.
yeah, man.
That's what it kind of sounds like. You're being drawn to do that.
Yeah, I mean that's really what, like, we've talked about this before. I mean, luckily this is a good side effect of this show, that we could bring people in the sense to kind of bring them in lines and maybe answer some of the questions that people are asking, or maybe just clear up some confusion and get everyone moving in the right direction. If you get everybody moving in the right direction for something that they care about, like mountain biking specifically for this, then we can do a lot of stuff. But if we stay divided and kind of in our little cliques, for whatever reasons, like people justify it to be in those cliques, then it's going to take longer for this stuff to get here. It may not happen as quickly as people want it because of the bureaucracy we spoke about dealing with the city and getting money and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But if this organization has the right amount of people and the amount, like, and a good amount and like a demand for it, and then they can show the city like, hey, our membership or our support has gone up from 100 members or whatever it is now to 3,000 or something, then that shows the city like, oh shit, there's an actual demand, and we can work with this official agency and get this stuff moving in the right
Accomplish it.
direction. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
get it. Yeah.
there's a unified voice into the direction we're going, and if that doesn't happen, then people keep building trails. And I'm all for like building, and I get it and I understand it because I would help build like some of the trails. I don't want to say a lot, but I helped build some of the trails. But to see them get destroyed afterwards, that really kind of like you put all that work in, because building trails is a lot of hard work, and it's an art form.
I would
And
imagine that got to be like, kind of deteriorating. Looks to
it
see that.
does,
It's just
it does, and
discouraging.
yeah, and it just it gets you more angry, and people probably think that Storm went out and did it, or I don't know what people feel, but I really feel in our case it was the neighborhood, like, because a lot of the land that we have is private. It's not really public land. Everything in Texas is privatized, so somebody owns the land in one
Hmm.
shape or form, and if we build stuff on there, it's like if you had property, like let's say you had 3 acres, and somebody cut through your land, and even though you don't have a fence line, they built all these. You're like, what the fuck? They didn't even ask me. You know what I mean? And then so you're angry because they're on your land, and you're gonna go destroy it because you're like, I wasn't even asked. And maybe the landowner would have been like, yeah, I'm cool with that. I ride too. I'll help you build, and then you can have that understanding, and then it would stay there. But if you're not asking and you're just building, assuming that it's public land, then
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
keep working against ourselves. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Always gonna be some type of friction, some head bumps. It's like, yeah, it's not being used. I'm gonna build on it. Well, it's my land, and I don't. You know,
Right.
I'm not saying I minded on there, but you guys just didn't even ask. I just
Right.
started building. That's kind of inconsiderate.
Right. And it's crazy. Like, I don't know if I just saw another YouTube video. I think Pink Bike did it or something, but some guy in Scotland somewhere found a piece of land. He thought he spoke with the owner, the landowner, and the landowners, whoever supposedly owned that land, um,
Hmm.
said it was okay. Long story short, they started building. They built like a lot of stuff, like really nice, crazy downhill, like fast, flowy features with jumps and all kinds of stuff. Long story short, like he stopped the film like halfway, and he's like, I thought that I had a approval for this land, but it ended up being this other company, and he put the badge on there who owned it, and
Give me the
he
beer, man.
yeah he had to go back with that other people that owned the land and get their approval, and they're like, if you would have just came to us directly, then we would have been okay with it, because what ended up happening was a lot of the work they put in, they had to take out some of it because it wasn't up to par with their standards for like a safe ride, for safe trail. So they had to duplicate work in some places because they didn't have they didn't know about these guidelines that this public or this landowner had for trails on their land. And long story short, they ended up getting approved, and now it's a featured trail in that area. It's just like one like fast trail in that area. I don't know how long it is, but it was pretty cool. But my point is that if we can kind of just, I don't want to say do the things the right way, but if we can just get the landowners on board and like pitch to them why we feel it's important, why we feel that this is beneficial for their land, why we feel all these number of things, and like show like the long term picture and get these like trails sanctioned and be actual a staple in our community of riding, then that's gonna sustain us a lot longer because we're gonna be able to get more. I would like to see.
You think it might have to deal with like if the landowners are actual riders, or you don't even think that should be like even a thing for them to even
I
allow it
mean,
to be on their property.
I'm not saying it would help if their the landowners are riders. That would be a huge plus because they would understand and they would be more willing to try to help. I would assume, but I would imagine that there's a good amount of them that are not going to want that. But at least you know that now, and you're not going to waste your time and build all this stuff on this property, and then you know what I
Get it
mean.
torn down.
Get
Yeah,
it tore down,
wasted efforts.
right? So if we can put our efforts and not waste them in one direction, and I'm not saying that it's going to be easy because I'm pretty sure a lot of people just want to build right now. But at the same time, if you're putting all this work in and time and effort, and then it's going to be destroyed in about a week or so, or maybe 6 months from now, you know what I mean? You kind of
Yeah,
starting back at square one.
yeah.
I mean,
But if you keep building it and they tearing it down, hey, you're just gonna be a good, efficient builder.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. You know what I mean? You're just going to,
Yeah.
like, oh, now it gives us the opportunity to build something a little bit different or whatever. And there's
I
a
guess
plus with that,
it
too.
could be like building a snowman. You can put all that craft and time in building a snowman, but you know it's gonna melt anyway. So
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
But if you learn to build a snowman without snow, then I don't know.
Is it still a snowman if it's
No,
built without snow? It's an ice
no,
man. I
I don't
never
know.
heard
It
that.
could be an ice
Yeah,
man. It could be a dirt man. I don't know. By
dirt
the way,
man.
it would be cool to kind of have this because right now the demand is there. We talked with Fern. We have our own experiences as far as going to bike shops. We and seeing that all the amount of bikes from one customers coming out of the woodshed and people are riding more. I see it more physically, like outside. When I go outside, I see people on bikes that I normally wouldn't see on bikes. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like in my neighborhood. And then we talk about like the bike shops in Kansas City, and then we talk about the bike boom of 2020. Essentially, we have Patrick on. He was selling like $95 a day or whatever. Um,
That was
no, it
insane.
was it was a lot of bikes like in one week. So the
Yeah,
demand is there. Now we need to kind of
find more
get
places to ride
yeah
the
and get it more
van.
focused, like everyone on the same page, and get it focused in a direction where we can actually build sanctioned trails, the type of sanctioned trails that we that most of like for advanced riders as well as intermediate and below, because there's plenty of opportunity to do all those three. Now granted we have land elevation's an issue, but if they can do it in Kansas, they can do it here, and people have done it here. Just
Yeah.
case in point, like in Austin, they have a lot of trails. They have a lot of sanctioned trails because
Would you say Austin got more elevation than San Antonio?
yes,
Or
yes, by
okay,
far.
okay,
But
okay.
at the same time, also have a different mindset there as far as when it comes to cyclists. It's been a little bit more prevalent there for a lot longer, maybe because of Lance Armstrong being from there. Um, that and then you know what I mean, and then
Yeah, that would kind of make sense.
the
Yeah,
culture of that city is a little bit more diverse than here, and I've always had like a little bit more of a outside presence as far as activities go, as opposed to San Antonio. But the city is kind of working its way in that direction where everyone's getting outside. I see people posting like stuff about hiking. I see people posting stuff that normally I wouldn't see, from that person, which is a good thing. I think it's a good thing, man, to get people outside riding, hiking,
Yep, new
rock
stuff.
climbing,
It's so much
whatever.
stuff out there for activities outside.
Yeah,
Adventures. I call it adventures.
so much room for activities from like Step
Yeah,
Brothers when
yeah,
they
so
build up
much.
the.
Yeah,
So I don't know, man. I see good things about it. I just feel like it's just kind of a lot of people in the room that are thinking the same thing, but we just can't. We just gotta get them talking to each other and kind of expressing those ideas and frustrations or whatever, and kind of I don't want to
find a
say
similar goal. Yeah,
yeah,
just get about
fine,
everybody
like
in the same room, bounce ideas and
exactly, and
dislikes
that
off each other, and just find a
yeah,
common goal.
and then we have the opportunity to be at the forefront of building something that we can be proud of later. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's as well as I mean, once you kind of get into the mountain biking scene there in Kansas City, you know what I mean. You probably start getting that understanding as well, talking to some of the local trail builders, or talking to just anybody that rides there, and kind of get more of an understanding of what Kansas City has to offer. The more and more you ride, and when you start getting into the mountain biking, scene or what have you. So I don't know, man.
hmm
You know what I mean?
opportunities, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Opportunities, they're out there. You got to connect the dots.
Yeah, and that's all really what I was trying to we're trying to do is talk about this stuff and then hopefully get people moving in the same direction. And if people want to like hear this and they're just like, "Oh, I tried that before, it didn't work, whatever, whatever." Maybe with the new regime or what have you, it's gonna be received this time, and maybe um, try to give the organization another opportunity to do so, or we can just choose to not use that vehicle of an organization that's already established with the city and create our own organization to build trails. But if we already have an established vehicle that the city is dealing with, and it kind of it enables us to already have that rapport as opposed to it us establishing a new group, then we have to establish that rapport. We're pretty much
Yeah,
reinventing the wheel when we already have a wheel that we can kind of fix up
you
by
just got to
bringing
jump on
by,
and help fix it.
yeah, by bringing new blood into it and a new understanding and new experiences and like younger blood, and then have it sanctioned. Or we could just continue to just build stuff and then people destroy it.
Have it tear down.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Einstein says. The definite. I'm probably gonna butcher this. Definition of
Definition of
insanity is
insanity is doing the same thing over and over again,
expecting a different result. Yeah.
expecting different result. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carpe diem, Tom.
Yep. What's carpe diem?
Seize the day.
There you go. We'll keep this one short. I got some other stuff I got to do today as well. But hey, if you guys are out riding today and if you guys enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up or
Thumbs up and subscribe to it as well.
subscribe to it.
Subscribe to it.
Exactly. And if you have any ideas or topics you want us to discuss, please let us know in the comments. Also, if you want
If you
to
want to
follow,
keep sending swag to Crash Fitty, go ahead.
oh yeah,
He can
yeah,
send it
that,
my way too. I can
yeah,
put it
well,
on my helmet. I got a
yeah,
lot of space on here. I need one of them Crash Fitties on there, man.
yeah. I need to send you some. Send me your address after this, and I'll send you one or send you a few of them.
All right, bet
But
that.
um, um, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it was kind of a recap of the last one, but at the same time, I wanted to have this time to process like some of the ideas and kind of talk about it a little bit further in detail because I do see that the city has a lot of promise to it, and I do see the demand in the mountain biking community, and I do see that if we can get everybody in alliance and try to get him pushing in one direction of what we like have a voice in the sense of what we want to see, and we can make that voice louder by joining our similar direction of what we feel that the city should be as far as mountain biking goes or the trails, then we have an opportunity to do so, or we can just go the other way and keep working against ourselves. But at the end of the day, I mean, people choose what they want, and people have their reasons to not be part of it or not be with it, and that's cool too. And everyone finds their place when they need to. But hope you guys enjoy this episode. If you like it, please click subscribe. Also, yeah, and stay tuned.
We're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere. And hopefully, we can try to line up a guest for next week for episode 13, I believe.
14. This is 13.
14. This is 13.
14.
See, I'm already getting stuff confused. But yeah, it happens. But all right, you guys have a good one. Stay tuned, and we'll try to keep these things coming. And maybe next week we'll talk about bike racks, such as like give a short-term review, the different kind of rack.
Different kind of rack.
Short-term review of like, well, not short-term, but long-term review of the Kuwait or whatever. But yeah, man, you guys stay tuned and take care, and I'll talk to you guys later. Chugg, stay safe out there, and let me know how that those trails that you go to. Where are you going again?
I'm going to Parkville, Missouri today.
Okay, Parkville. So let me know how that goes, and we'll go from there. Just stay safe, man, and look out for those cars.
All right, man. We'll do. Look out for that rock and those trees, those jumps, all that, brother.
All right, man. Take care, man. Later.
Yeah.